Welcome back, people. Welcome to Adventures with Truth. I'm V, and yeah, today I feel like there's a weird air about it. The way things are going, I feel loss is in the air. India lost the World Cup. God damn it. It seems like Palestinians are also losing lives, property, as Israel did. Ukraine seems to be have been losing for a long time now. I don't know where that is going. Nobody seems to be talking about that war now. Yeah, some people, some notable people in, I would say, Indian diaspora have lost their mind. Narayan Murthy, I'm talking to you, or rather, talking about you. So yeah, as I said, loss is in the air. Speaking of loss, Delhi's air is still causing us to lose a lot of years in our life. So this is deep. I mean, not just the pollution, but the loss itself. So let's talk about the World Cup first. It happened yesterday. This was one of the few World Cups that I tried to watch through and through the entire match. And boy, it was really disheartening. I mean, the entire match itself, there was like not even a single ray of hope for the Indian team. Yeah, most of the batsmen didn't score much. I mean, I think Siraj has the best strike rate in the entire cricket team. He scored 9 runs from 8 balls. And yeah, so shout out to Siraj for performing in the World Cup finals. We really needed those 9 runs, man. We really really needed those 9 runs. But yeah, so India lost, which is kind of surprising because we didn't lose a single match. Even to the Australia, the previous match we had in the league, India won that one. But this was just a brutal performance from them. Which you gotta give it to them. Australia is one of the most legendary teams in cricket. And my mind goes like, here Australia is winning most of the World Cups. They are always dressed in yellow. And in India, most of the IPL Cups have been won by Chennai Super Kings. They are also dressed in yellow. And I'm like, when the fuck are we gonna see somebody else dressed in some other uniform? Take the cup. Enough with the yellow, man. But yeah, they performed well. Gotta give it to them. Makes me think like, of course, Indian team also has like lot of world class players right now. Who knows if they'll perform in the next one, right? The next World Cup. Maybe they'll play in the T20. But the thing is, Australia has, some kind of I don't know, should I call it a lineage? Like they have been doing this for a long time. They have been performing well at World Cups for a long time. They have been taking finals away for a pretty long time. And yeah, which was kind of weird. I mean, for a second, I think Indian fans did have some hope when India took 3 wickets of Australia within 40-50 runs. But after that, nope, not a chance. I saw a lot of people were there, a lot of celebrities. Funny, I saw like the cameraman, of course, pointed to the audience, and there it was, SRK, right? Shah Rukh Khan was sitting, and with his wife Gauri, and right behind him were sitting another celebrity couple of Bollywood, which is Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh. And right, so SRK and Gauri were sitting in the front, and they were like, pretty chill people. SRK had his bun going, looks cool, sure. And they were sitting, and right behind them, even Deepika and Ranveer were pretty chill, just sitting, quietly watching the match. And then after a while, when things took a turn for the bad, I saw, I think Shah Rukh Khan had left. Like him and his wife were gone. And they were only showing like Deepika and Ranveer. And now Ranveer was acting all crazy. Right? He was like standing, he was doing something, he was wearing, like he was looking weird because the motherfucker was wearing a Dream 11 t shirt, which is like orange colored, and everybody else was dressed in blue. So he was standing out already. But he was doing this weird shit like, oh yeah, trying to cheer thing as, I mean, the way he does suits his personality, sure. So that was interesting. I was like, were you just waiting for the big man to leave so that you can do your thing your way? Because maybe you didn't want to save your face, didn't have to. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But it was funny. एक बड़े भाई को जान दो. Then we'll do our thing. Let the OGs leave. So, yeah, that was that. Modi was there. PM Modi was there. Amit Shah was there. Bunch other political people. And yeah, they showed like, of course, PM was consoling the players and everything. But in the news, they were showing that there were a bunch of people who had actually like taken a loan against their cars, their, I don't know, two-wheelers, their bikes, scooters, just to go and see that match. And they were very sad. And that just boggled my mind. Had me thinking that, what's with these people, man? Like, these are probably the kind of people which ruin good things for us. Do we need these kind of people in our country? I mean, sure, cricket is a big religion and everything, but that crazy. I mean, even if India had won, okay, sure, right? Australia lost, India won. What then? Like, what do these people think? Is the Indian team gonna share their winning prize with them? Are they gonna buy them a car just because they're gonna be so moved by this gesture they did? What goes on in the mind of these dumb motherfuckers? What are they thinking? Or I mean, rather, I want to know, what are they smoking or drinking? That seems like the good stuff. Because, like, players are, most of them are rich. They got fancy cars. Even the ones who are playing now for the, I don't know, first time, they'll, still be paid handsomely. But to these people, I would say, man, you'd still have to go back to your whatever shitty life, shitty job, difficult situation going on. So what was going through your head? India wins the World Cup. Okay, sure. Rohit Sharma and the entire team is the captain. Everybody comes, grabs the trophy, and goes to the headquarters of the BCCI. What happens in that case? You still have to pay that loan. If not, then you lose your car, your bike, or even if you're home, if you've been that crazy. And yeah, that baffles my mind. I'm like, man, देश बड़ा हो रहा है और देश की सोच बड़ी नहीं हो रही है. Maybe that's why, India is yet to become a superpower in every sense. Because how do we improve the society? We gotta like start at the basic level. We gotta, teach people how to think. That's even something we've lost in the society. People don't even know how to think. You give them a fact, give them some new information, give them a perspective. They don't even know how to process it. They just put their previous beliefs on it and try to fit it within. And that's crazy. So, yeah, what gives? These are the few instances where news will actually give you some, truth into the world. Because mostly the media is doing their weird shit. They want to tell you what they want to tell you. They've got some ideas to push. In the most cases, of course, some are doing some good journalism. But in most cases, that's not the case. So you gotta find the truth, as I said. You gotta take the truth on an adventure. And when news is telling you this is happening, that's how you find the truth. You're like, okay, we don't want to believe what you're telling us, but we saw this, insight. That's what's going on in society. I'm sure that's not what they were trying to say, They were trying to make an example of this person. More people should take loan and sell all their savings and go just watch a match. Whoever wins, it's like, I mean, even gambling is not allowed in India, so even in that case you won't be able to you know get any kind of a profit out of the victory of any particular team. So get your head right, go home, people, have a chilled beer, get some organic in you, and watch the match on a sofa. Put the AC on. If you don't have an AC, man, put the cooler on. You don't have the cooler, put the fan on. You don't even have a fan in your house, man, get a dog. Yeah. And when the dog grows up, he's gonna wag his tail, and maybe you'll use that to fan yourself. You gotta make do what you do, whatever you have. Speaking of other losses, maybe we should get to Narayan Murthy first. I mean, it's been kind of a news which has been in the media for a while, and I thought this news is gonna die down. Initially, Narayan Murthy made a claim that everybody should, Indians, especially young Indians, growing Indians, should work 70 hours a week. 70 hours a week. Okay. So that means you have to work about 10 hours every day. There's no Sundays, no Saturdays, no week offs, nothing. Or maybe if you want to take some days off, then you gotta, add the days to the working days, add the hours rather. Which makes not much sense. Okay, sure. So how much do you want us to work? 14 hours. Let's talk about 14 hours, right? So if you want to work for 5 days a week, Monday to Friday that is, and want to have the weekends off on Saturdays and Sundays, you gotta work about 14 hours a week, or rather 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. So what's 14 hours look like? 14 hours look like you gotta start working in the office at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. in the morning, okay? And then you'll have to be working till 9 p.m. in the night. So from 7 in the morning to 9 in the night. That's how much they want you to work. And let's go with that, Let's not even discuss how absurd that it is and how crazy it sounds. Let's not even go into the psychological aspects just yet. And let's see how is it even feasible. Let's get to the logistics of it, right? So now if you're starting your work at 7, even if, sometimes it takes people a lot of different times to commute to the office. For some people it's less, for some people it's more. It varies from like half an hour to about 2 hours. So let's take an average of 1 hour, right? 40 to 45 minutes, 1 hour. That's about a good average for most people working in the cities. So an hour, which means that you gotta leave your home by 6 a.m. That's how you'll reach your office by 7 a.m. and start working, right? Get with the slavery. Start with the chopping the sugar canes for whoever's paying top dollar. So you gotta do that. Leave the home by 6. And if assuming it takes you about 1 hour to, take a shit, go take a shower, get dressed, make some food, eat some food, make some lunch, get that lunch, carry that lunch to office. I don't know if they'll let you eat their lunch in the office, because he didn't say about eating anything. He just said you're supposed to work from 7 to 9. So I don't know if working hours allowed. Maybe if I take an hour to eat my food, maybe they'll add 3 hours to my working day. Yeah. Maybe they'll make me sleep on the floor. That sounds like how India will develop, right? Anyways, coming back. So you gotta wake up at 5. Okay. So you wake up at 5 and you reach the office by 7. You start working. Maybe they let you have some food. Maybe they just give you some coffee. Maybe they just give you an injection and have you working. And then you work till it's 9 p.m. in the night. Then it takes another hour for you to go home. And given the mode of transport you're using is not time bound, and not to mention, not a lot of people would want to work late in the night, especially women. Okay, so now it's 10. You just reach home and you have to wake up at 5 the next day. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that sounds like a healthy lifestyle. That's something a smart leader, a tech leader in India should say. That's the kind of mentality we need. That's the thing that's missing. Yeah. That's how we're gonna get to Sone ki Chidiya, back to the great Akhand Bharatvarsh by doing stupid shit like that. I mean, I thought we wanted to make this country great, but he's just giving us tips to make the country a slave, and we are just trying to fight the evils of slavery even today. So why is Narayan Murthy trying to take us back to slavery? Is he the evil British reincarnate? I hope not. Yeah, so that's what he said, and yeah, so you get home and then you gotta eat. So it's 11. By the time you go to sleep, it's 11:30. You wake up at 5, and throughout this, there's no time that you can spend on yourself. You cannot work out. You cannot make clean food because you don't just have time. The master is calling you. The master has a whip. He's gonna whip your ass, boy. Better get your ass back to the Infosys mainland. I wouldn't be surprised if they just, guard their entire campus with barbed wire and armed guards. Maybe Infosys will say, hey people, you are allowed to leave when we tell you. And anybody who does not follow the instructions, these fine little gentlemen in black suits with big rifles, they're gonna shoot you. So fuck 70 hours a week. You're gonna be working 168 hours a week, because that's how many hours there are in a week. If we had time machine, Infosys would make you work 170 hours a week. They'd fucking go back in time and make you work 2 more extra hours. Yeah. And I thought, maybe sure, he said something, doesn't matter, because it's not how things work. In India, people are not going to start working 70 hours a week. And they still have like one of the higher averages of people working each day. The problem is the productivity is not high. You don't have to take the numbers high. You don't have to go crazy with it. It's quality over quantity, but given what kind of most people choose to go into Infosys, we already know what the quality versus quantity ratio there is. So yeah, so I've been like a part of this corporate tech circle, job life situation, slavery before, and it's a fact that only people who choose to join Infosys are the people who literally have no other option. It's either you starve to death, or you go and work into Infosys, and you work till your death. So these people are gonna die either way. They just choose to prolong their life and live a bit of in a slavery rather than just, walk off a high place. So, and that's the problem, because that's the kind of options you have in Indian major tech industries right now. Because we don't actually have a big face in the tech industry to lead us through. Like, sure, Tata, TCS is one of the giants, but Tata, like Ratan Tata, isn't really the face of TCS. He's not, I think, much involved in those businesses right now. He's old, he's chilling, he's done a lot of great things, accomplished a lot of things. So, yeah, sure. But yeah, coming back to Mr. Murthy. And then after a while, I thought, okay, sure. He said something, some people made some jokes about it, some people agreed with it, not so smart people, but sure. And I thought, the story is gonna die down. But it didn't. I think after a few days, he thought that his initial comment or advice was so well received, maybe he should make another one. Now, I'm not sure where would he get that idea at all. Because if I was his PR guy, I was like, you should probably uninstall all the social media apps and put your mode in flight mode, and yeah, we'll handle it from here. But no, being a serious entrepreneur, and of course a workaholic too, Mr. Murthy decided to take matter into his own hands. And then he made a statement that Indian teachers, right, or retired teachers should be paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000. 100 fucking $1,000. Okay, let's think about it for a minute. Let's see if there's some truth to that thing. Can we do it? It's a good idea, right? People are teaching the next generation youth. So maybe they should be paid handsomely. Maybe they'll be even more inclined to do the shitty job they are currently doing, because I do believe most, I would say more than half people currently employed in the education sector are just not doing even a fraction of the things they should be doing. I mean, most of them are even absent, but coming back. So he says people should be paid $100,000, $1 lakh, which is like 80 lakh rupees. Okay. Now, where is this money coming from? Is Infosys gonna announce a scholarship for teachers? I really doubt that, because for a company who's so infamous for paying their employees shittiest wages possible and trying to squeeze the life, the work and soul, everything out of them, where they have to work from 7 to 9, not have any kind of mental, physical health, any development, personal, anything, right? I mean, what happens if you have a family? You don't get to see your family. Yeah. What if you're just newly married? You're working 7 to 9. I mean, the only action you're getting with your wife is just bumping into her while you're sleeping, because you're gonna have no time to talk or communicate, spend together. Of course not. While, of course, Narayan Murthy's family himself are doing quite well, going a lot of fancy places, doing a lot of fancy things, not working on those hours, but sure, I'll let the hypocrisy fly. And if you go chasing rabbits and you know you're going to fall. Yeah, man has been chasing rabbits, but I've been talking about it, I think, for way too long now. We should not pay so much attention. It's just an accomplished old man saying some weird shit at a very old age. Let him. I mean, even if we don't let him, it's not gonna be able to. I don't think it's possible to, bring Indians or any smart or sensible or even a functioning human to a 70-hour week. You know what kind of creatures do 70-hour work a week? Yeah, there are some creatures. They work sometimes side by humans too. But their humans are not working 70 hours. The creatures that are working are horses and asses and donkeys. Yeah. You know what they are to us? They are essentially our slaves. That's what's up. I mean, horses used to be considered as one of the best friends to the man, similar to, I would say, the dogs, but gone are those days. So, is he trying to make Indian youth horses? What the hell, man? But I think we should cut him some slack. At least I should, because I've been talking a lot of shit. I mean, because at age 80, man, let me tell you how to live life, Mr. Narayan Murthy. And then we'll let you off the hook. Hopefully you'll get some value out of it. You're a smart man. You know how to build a business, build a big company, employ a lot of slaves. Sure. Let me tell you how to live at 81 years old. I've not been there, but I think I can give you a good idea, because it's clearly not your strong suit. That's not where you are most creative. So at 81, or anybody who's, able-bodied, if you can move your body or even if you can't move your body, then even in that case, your this advice is gonna come even more handy. So what you should do if you're 81 and there's no evident threat to your health, you don't have to go for dialysis or chemo or anything or any kind of shit, you should just start doing drugs. That's what I feel like. Especially somebody in the position of Narayan Murthy. Sir, with all due respect, man, somebody in your position with your kind of money, your moolah, resources, reach, and connections, man, you can get all the drugs you want. So that's my advice. Enough with this. I mean, what are you trying to do? Change the youth? You know how things work. I mean, you probably don't, but let me tell you, it's not gonna get you very far. People are not gonna take your advice because there are not a lot of Narayan Murthis in this country. Thankfully, but yeah, you're luckily or unluckily, you're one of the few. So people will not be following that work ethic. So what you should do is just enjoy your life. These are the so-called golden years, as they say, in anybody's life. So yeah, use your resources and explore new things you have never tried, man. I mean, this life is just one short journey. You're 81 years old. You don't even have to worry about, health. Every day is a blessing. I mean, I don't know how you think about it, but that's what it seems to me. If I get to be 81, that's my advice, people. Live healthy. I would not condone anybody to use substances or anything like that, other than, of course, naturally occurring ones. But yeah, people should not consume anything in excess, right? Drinking, smoking, and definitely don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. But if you get to be 81, do all the drugs, man. Yeah. So Narayan Murthy, man, I mean, I don't know much about drugs, but you've watched a lot of movies. I'm sure I've watched a lot of movies. Start there. Start with some cocaine. Start with some heroin. You're 81. What do you have to lose? Get some new experiences in life, man. This is just one small life. You've done great things. Now get great experiences, as an addict would say. Hypothetically, of course. So yeah, try to find other things you can do. Maybe go for a trek. Yeah, I have a personal, fascination with nature, and I'm sure you do too. As you ponder your, accomplishments, mortality, health, family, go on some pilgrimage, man. A lot of pilgrims. Kedarnath is nice. You can go Kheer Ganga. You have a lot of resources. You can even go to Kailash Mansarovar, right? Get a chopper. Get your chopper there. Hire a chopper. Land on Kailash. Do the things Baba log do. And have a nice time. And let the generation live. Stand against slavery. Stand against slavery at Infosys. Fucking 80 lakhs. It would take fucking 10 years for an engineer at Infosys to be paid 80,000. But sure, every teacher should be paid 80 lakhs. Aha. It makes me feel that if only people could actually practice what they preach. Or even the things they think they act according to. Most of the times people, they don't. They think of themselves in a certain way. They do things in a certain way. But if you ask them to write about it, they'd probably, or explain to you, it would be conveyed in a way that we are doing much better, much more than we are, and things are not happening, or maybe we are always true to our beliefs and we follow our thoughts and perspectives all the way through. Or if we find something, we incorporate it. But most times I don't think people do. Yeah. So that's loss. Let's talk about something else. The loss of years from our lives, as we have chosen to be Delhiites. Oh shit, that rhymed. Let's talk about the loss of years in our life for we have chosen to be Delhiites. Damn. Sometimes, I surprise myself. I'm like, very good. Lage raho. So, loss of life, the air. People have been saying air is relatively better. They have taken the GRAP 4 methods away. Now we're down to GRAP 3. Not that they make any sense. We should not call it GRAP, GRAP. We should call it GRAP because that's what it is. Just a bunch of horse shit. And that's what's going on. The government has, of course, taken away some stringent measures, but most of the diesel cars are still banned. And funny enough, somebody I know was in urgent need of a cab. They need to go a long distance and they don't have the access to a car. They cannot drive, and going to using any other public transport would actually be crazy. So they needed to book a cab. But lo and behold, being in Delhi, being the national capital of the nation, being the city which should be the most interconnected, the public transport should be flawless here. The metros, the flyovers, the roads, the buses, the cabs, everything should be flawless. This is the capital. This is where the PM lives. This is where the headquarters of army is. This is Delhi, bitch. And most, like the entire cab system seems to be coming to a halt, other than of course the CNG cabs. But the diesel cabs, most of them are not running because they're not allowed to run. Because of course, as I described in the previous episode, like diesel vehicles up to the BS4 stage are not allowed, which was probably up until 2020, March 2020. So, yeah, in the capital, in the name of shutting down pollution, we are not doing anything much. And just because the pollution is not at 999 level, just because we are not smoking a hookah when we're breathing, people are saying, oh yeah, things have gotten better. So there were some rumors that the Delhi government was going to make it artificially rain. I think it costs about 15-20 crores to make it rain across the entire city for once. Yeah, that didn't happen. It's okay to spend crores and crores in your humble abode. But when it comes to Delhi, snow, rain, just broken roads. I'm on a spree here, man. Rhyming and everything. Aha. Freestyling. Yeah. So yeah. Not only, Delhiites have to compromise on their health, safety, insane roads which are just deteriorating day by day. Projects are not completing. Infrastructure is coming to a halt. And on top of that, the public infrastructure is being crippled too. Just because of the government policies. And of course, the pollution, could be curbed through Punjab and everything too, but who cares? Who fucking cares? Truth is, nobody does. When the men on the chessboard get up and tell you where to go, and you just had some kind of mushroom, and your mind is moving low. Yeah, go and have some mushroom, people. Have some mushroom. And wait, right before you have the mushroom, worship the cow, the holy cow, and the sacred mushroom. Someday we'll get there. Someday we'll get there. I hope so. There's no guarantee. If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll know in some of the upcoming episodes, few months down the line. So yeah, that's about the loss of life for the Delhiites in the air. And similar to loss of life in Delhi, there's a lot of loss of life in Israel. I mean, Gaza specifically, because of course Israel believe it's all a greater Israel area. Nations do have like a weird fascination with greater areas being, imperialist, taking over somebody else's territory and saying, oh, this is our territory. What is this fascination? What is this fascination in the human nature that predisposes us to do such horrible acts as is going on in Gaza? And yeah, looks like the tide is turning. Apparently, Israel has killed enough civilians in the process of getting Hamas that the view of the people is changing. In the beginning, right before the attack on October 7 happened, everybody was, right by Israel. And now it's like, yeah, maybe you've overstretched it, use this as an opportunity. That's what some people are saying. And it doesn't seem to be coming to an end. This loss, I'm at a loss of words for the way things are going in the world. It's bonkers. It's insane. Maybe this is, so there's this theory that not only we humans are unable to predict future, but we are so unable to see into the future that we will not be able to judge the direction the future will take, let alone how the future will pan out. We cannot even be in the same ballpark, right? So let me give you an example for it. If 100 years ago, right now we are in 2023, if we were in 1923, right after I think the First World War, if at that time you had asked anybody on the street, what will happen first? Will we cure the common cold, the regular sardi, khasi, jukham? Will we cure that first? Or will we put a man on the moon first? That's up for debate too, but for the sake of the argument, let's even talk about, we'll put a robot on the moon or in the Mars, or we'll send objects to Saturn. So if you would have asked this question to anybody in 1923, probably I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 90% people would say that, yeah, first we're gonna, cure the common cold, and then we're gonna develop and science is gonna advance and everything, and then we're gonna send robots, rovers, satellites to other planets. And here we are in 2023, having sent objects even out of the solar system, having sent people into orbit, of Earth's orbit, and so far we have not even come close to curing the common cold or cough, such as the one I have right now. So you see, and most people would have said, right, I'm sure even the listeners that you would have guessed the same thing, that we would probably cure the cold first. Seems to be a very small problem, but our inability to understand the extent of the problem made us so far off in judging the, I would say, thought process which we would use to solve that problem. We never even had a chance. And it's like, how things happen in school. You come out of an exam and you have the answer 42 and everybody is discussing, and the answer was a square or z or exponential or log or something. You're like, 42? What did I do? You weren't even close, right? So that's how things with humanity goes when we talk about predicting future. So, and there was a famous quote by Einstein, I think. He said that, I don't know what the third world war would be fought with, but the fourth one would be fought with sticks and stones, implying that before that fourth world war or the final world war, we would have probably nuked ourselves back to Stone Age. And it seems that was not quite the case. hmm Things turned out to be much more colorful, much more colorful than he said. Because it seems like, on the subject of losing life, the world is in a state of world war. Not every fire has started burning yet, but we have a lot of gunpowder in place. There's a war in that front. If US doesn't come in and stop Israel, they're gonna keep doing it. Iran seems to have backed off. They were like, let Hamas die. We don't give a fuck about none of them. Let them die. That's what's up. They have served their purpose. That's what we need from them. Cause chaos, and at the cost of Palestinian people, we'll enjoy the fireworks. That's what Iran said. I mean, not word for word, of course, but that was the implication. Or at least that's how I understand it. So, Palestinians का तो बहुत गंदा कटा है भाई. हर जगह से, like, they are getting fucked over left and right. They're getting fucked over by their own government. So they say, Hamas. They're getting fucked over by Iran because they are making their government do things which is causing damage to them. Israel is, of course, on a rampage. They have a right to defend themselves, and maybe they are overusing that right or taking advantage of that right, and not with great results, unless the result is, of course, civilian massacre. And funny, now this is the hottest and newest war, so Ukraine seems to have taken a back seat. But I think, there was some expert. He was pointing out that in 18 months of Ukraine war, Russia has killed less civilians than Israel has killed already in 1 month. Sure, the casualties have been greater in the Russian-Ukraine war, but most of them have been soldiers, which is still pretty bad because a loss of life is a loss of life, be it civilian or a soldier. It's not like these leaders are duking it out. I'd like to see these leaders go to war with each other. And we'll get to that in a second. So, a loss of life is a loss of life. And this loss of life has been quite out of proportions when it comes to the ratio of soldiers and civilians. So one would say that the way Putin does things, or the way his army or his orders are followed through the situation, that's a much more lenient guy. And there have been a lot of guys who are making a good case for Putin, that Putin is not at all the bad guy in most cases. Sure, there are some instances where he's done shady shit and his opponents have disappeared, but when it comes to a global level, Putin has mostly been fucked with. You keep lying to the guy for 2 decades. That's what America did. Kept lying to him 2 decades. There was a first treaty which happened at the fall of Soviet in, I think, 1989, when USSR fell. Then there was another one which happened after Putin came in power, and then it happened in 2008. They lied to him again, and this time they had like most of the Baltic countries in the NATO too. I mean, how is it Russia's fault in most cases? I think this is entire blame is to be put on America for the Russia-Ukraine war, and entire blame is to be put on Britain for the Israel and Gaza war. And if not entire, maybe at least 80 to 90%, because they started the shit. Putin seems like this sweet bhola bachcha, man. It's like, arey yaar, he keeps believing and they keep lying. He's all uptight. He's like, okay. You want to talk, you want to negotiate, we'll negotiate. But they just keep lying to him, and sooner or later, He went in, but he didn't drill them hard. He was gentle, soft, passionate, sensual, not raw dogging Ukraine out. Because, yeah, don't want to kill him. Don't want to kill him. What else is we'll at a loss of? There's a new propaganda movement going on in the south, because clearly most of the propaganda has been losing in some states. People are getting kind of woken up, seeing how the different adversary agents against India are working, be it ISI or whatnot. And I've heard rumors that there's a new Dravidian movement which is coming up in the south. It seems to be fueled by mal agents, or rather agents with mal intent. They're trying to create yet another divide among the Hindus, as if we don't already had a lot of that. But sure, South India, sure, South India does have some differences with the north and especially the center, the government, but now they're trying to use this Dravidian movement to go against the Sanatanis and cause another divide. Seems to have some ties to the ISI back in Pakistan, and yeah, hopefully this is not a loss for India yet, but a loss of control, a loss of sanity for the people. Because only way the propaganda works is if people are stupid. If people are stupid, if people are idiots, dumb cunts, that's when the propaganda is gonna work. How else would it work, right? Because I was thinking about it. How do we make the propaganda lose once and for all? Because of course, we cannot, establish laws, or how do you establish absolute truths? How do you read the propaganda when literally there's nothing that the entire world agrees upon? Nothing. Be it gravity, sun, religion, empathy, human values, morals, whatever. So if nobody is agreeing upon it, everybody is going to have their version of truth, the way they're seeing it. And they're going to do things the way they want to do things. That's not much to it. And anybody who has any kind of malintention against any other state, country, party, group, tribes, villages, whatever, they're going to try to exploit that. So propaganda is not going anywhere. That's for sure. So now if propaganda is not going anywhere, how do we deal with it? Because propaganda is actually on the rise everywhere, not just in India. Be it America, Russia, China, propaganda is everywhere. So how do you get rid of it? Clearly, education system was one of the ways which we could have, but as mankind itself, we have not been able to ensure proper good education across the planet yet, or even in the states that we have control over. So that was one method. That's not working, because again we need to work on those things. So how do we ensure national security when we cannot ensure that the population will be able to withstand the tides of propaganda which come to their way, come to their beaches and take away the homes of their thoughts, capture them? How do we do that? Especially when there's no ground truth, right? If you are talking to somebody, you want to argue with somebody, so you want to sit down and have a discussion, see what you agree upon. So there's got to be some truth that you agree upon. For example, one truth you got to agree upon is that you are there to talk and not to hit each other, punch each other in the face. You're not there to do that. And if you don't agree on that, then any party might start just throwing knockouts, popping teeth out, giving black eyes to other guys. Things can get crazy, right? So how do you do that? You gotta have some truths that, okay, we are here to have a discussion. So we're gonna use language, this tool which separates us from all other animals we've created out of our own mind. We had to make a lot of sacrifices, people. Remember that. This ability to talk and have language, human species, the Homo sapiens, have made a lot of sacrifices. We had to lose some parts of our brain to make space for other parts so that we can talk and have this language and different dialects and multiple languages, and everybody can understand and we can teach it, pass it down the generations. That's not to say that ability to speak makes you intelligent, because there are a lot of nonsense people in a lot of powerful positions who are spewing out nonsense. They don't sound intelligent anymore. Time gets us all right. Or as I like to say, entropy gets us all. In the end, entropy gets us all. Randomness prevails. Structure diminishes. That's the sup. That's a sup. So yeah, somebody's losing the war, somebody's losing the life, somebody's losing their national territory to some other countries, somebody's losing, loss, giving up, forced loss, having things taken. Thought I should have some water before I lose my voice. And thing about loss is, loss is actually one of the truest things about life. Because loss means end in some ways, and life ends. So, as highly evolved species, we should be able to deal with loss better, you know. But I don't think we are in any way instinctively or evolutionarily evolved to deal with loss. Most other animals seem to do pretty well. Their loved ones die, newborns die, like sure, sad for a day, 2 day, a week. But things go on, they're like, okay, let's have another litter. Let's hunt the next thing. But we humans, sometimes, like some people, a lot of people, find it very difficult to deal with loss. And loss is not just about death, be it loss of time, loss of opportunity, losing sanity itself. So, loss. And there are a lot of people who are trying to, find solutions for it. Companies are coming up, people try help, like psychology, psychiatry is an entire field or an entire industry which is basically designed to help people deal with loss, be it loss of anything, right? Poetically, you can put anything to a loss of innocence, loss of childhood, loss of dignity, loss of peace resulting in trauma, loss of this, loss of that. So yeah, there are industries around loss, and still it seems like we keep losing sense of it, we keep losing track of it. There have been so many cycles with the humans, the civilization. We have so many accounts from civilizations long ago, and we still lose our track. Civilizations which were at the top once, they lost their game, and thus they lost their life. So, how do you deal with loss. When loss is in the air, how do you do it? Should you just make peace with loss? Give it up? Like, okay, we've given it up. No more peace, no more hope. Let the chips fall wherever they are. Going with the flow, as they say, but some say dead fish go with the flow. That's not true, because not every fish swims like salmon across the stream, up the stream. So what do you do? What do you do? How do you people deal with loss? If you are watching on YouTube, comment. Listening on Spotify, go to YouTube and comment. Take a second. Yeah. How do you deal with loss? I just try to walk it off, think it off. Mostly it works. Mostly. Like when it doesn't, I walk some more. So much time has been lost. That's what people say. I've heard a lot of people say, I've lost so much time doing something which I dread, and I've lost my life, my hope, my dreams in that, and I really want to do something. But since I've already lost so much, now I'm used to being at a loss. Now I don't even want to change things. I wanna get all the loss towards me as soon as possible. Which is something which I was thinking, and I've been in that mindset too. Not a lot of the times, like yesterday during the cricket match, I was in that mind state. I was like, if I've lost it, we've lost the hope, the match is not interesting, they're trying to milk the overs one by one ball by one ball, one ball by one ball, boy. So what do you do? What do you do? So that's when I started feeling like, let Australia, just come on, Australian people. Now just stop taking singles. It's clear that India has lost. Just start hitting boundaries. Start go crazy. Because I cannot watch the match anymore, any longer. I want it to be over. So just get it over with. Let's get away with it. I was hoping like it had gone to the point that, Australian players were so good that, not good, but they got used to the ballers so well that nobody was, intimidating them anymore. Shami was not, Bumrah, Jadeja, nobody was. At that point, man, I thought like we should give anybody the ball, just not the ballers, because they know how they are gonna ball. So the Australian batsmen are gonna hit it off. Give the ball to Kohli, man. Oh, fuck Kohli. Just grab some Indian fan out of the audience. Like, come here, boy. Come here. You bowl to them now. And let them hit home runs and sixes and boundaries and everything. Give them free hits. Just let's fucking end the match. Yeah. Not to like, we're going to forfeit the match because, of course, you're going to play till the end. But that's not to say you cannot fast forward the things a little bit. No, no, no. Oh, no. So yeah, so that attitude about loss is, it's very natural, but what's unnatural sometimes has to be the key, because naturally we are not much inclined to deal with loss, and it's of course different with men and women too, different for each. So, I hope you deal well with your loss, people. I hope you've lost some worries as you were listening to the show. I hope you lose a lot of tensions and gain a lot of good things. Let's be more than the things we've lost, more than the scars of the things that we've lost. Let's be a culmination of what we want to be, of what we aspire to be, of what we dream of what we hope about, and not be defined by the things we have lost, not reminiscent about them all the time. Sure, it's good to remember, but one gotta deal with loss and move on. If only the air pollution could move on and we'd not lose everything. Yeah. Anyways, I'm at a loss of words now, loss of ideas. I'm gonna see you next episode, people. Be well, be good. I am V, and this was Adventures with Truth. See you next episode.